Today I responded to Ofgem's open letter on the additional wholesale cost allowance review, and I received a response from Ofgem CEO Brearley on my open letter to him regarding the conflict of interest with the director at Ofgem and the investigation I asked for into the breach of the Civil Service Code. Hi everyone, I'm Richard Winslow with Over50s Money. Please don't forget to subscribe to the Over50s Money YouTube channel, like this video, share it around. The more people that get to see it, the more people we can help. So I know it's been a little while since I've done a consultation video, and I'm not giving up on those. They've just been a bit lax on them being relevant to the price cap. But Ofgem have done, or they published an open letter on a consultation they're going to do at the end of November, early December, on the additional wholesale cost allowance in the price cap. The letter just had, it gave information. It wasn't a consultation, but it did have 9 questions that was asked. So I've obviously responded to those. And in the description below, you'll see a link to the article I've posted where I've shown you my entire response. This is one of those things where it's great for you guys to get involved. So please do send an email to them. As always, in the link below. And if you've signed the petition, you would have got this in the update that I posted this evening. There's instructions on how to get involved. So I give you my answers in case you agree with them or want to send them exactly, or if you want to alter them or completely change them. It's entirely up to you. Every response is important. If you have a different view to me, then please send it on to Ofgem so they can take it into consideration. The email address to send it to is also there, and I believe I've posted the deadline, which is the 23rd of October. So you have about 12 days to send your response to Ofgem on that open letter. They'll take into consideration all of our views, and then when they do their consultation in November, late November, early December, hopefully our views will help sculpt the consultation, and we might actually get a win and get the price cap to come down a little rather than going up. I do want to say that I've put in my response, and if you read the open letter, you'll see Ofgem's tone in this letter implies that they expect the allowance to go down, which would be fantastic. But so did their first letter on changing the profit allowance last September. The very first letter implied that they had the same thought process we did, which was that profits as a percentage of costs give higher profits in a crisis, and that wouldn't be fair to consumers. So it implied that they were looking to decrease the amount of profit suppliers get or change the formula so it offers a decrease to consumers. And about a year later, or a little over a year later, when they finally finished altering the profit element of the price cap, they ended up putting in a new formula that increases supplier profits unless the price cap goes above £4,000, which it's only ever touched once in history, which was during the peak of the crisis. And even then, we weren't paying that. The government was subsidising us down to £2,500. So there's no benefit to this new formula. So I'm just saying, even though it looks like Ofgem are leaning towards bringing down the cap, they'll do an analysis and they may or may not increase it. So us responding to these consultations and open letters is really important to make sure they know that we believe that the value of the allowance should drop. So please, do get involved. The only other thing I wanted to mention in this video is for those of you that got involved with the process in September last month, I sent a letter to the CEO of Ofgem about the conflict of interest that existed for 22 months in the senior management of Ofgem. So one of their directors, Neil Lawrence, who is a nice guy. I've met him a few times on video calls, but he had a conflict of interest that lasted for 22 months. His wife owned shares in SSE. And after we all emailed our local MPs about it, we got those responses from, I think it was Graham Stewart, who told us that this needs to be dealt with by the CEO of Ofgem. So I wrote the open letter. I'll put a link to that in the description of this video as well, so you can see what I sent to Jonathan Brearley, the CEO of Ofgem. And that was sent on the 22nd of September. I finally got a response this morning. It's as to be expected, which is very much that they're defending Neil Lawrence, obviously. So he's reiterated what the chairman of Ofgem said a couple of months ago, which was that Neil Lawrence was mistakenly told by Ofgem that it was okay for his wife to keep those shares. And it wasn't realised until over a year later when they did the next review of conflicts of interest, and Neil told Ofgem again about the shares, and then someone in Ofgem went, oh, actually, that's against our policy, you need to get rid of them. And then they gave him the standard 9 months to get rid of them. So the 13-month mistake plus the 9 months he was allowed added to 22 months. And he said that it's perfectly fine that Neil kept them for that long because it wasn't his fault that the mistake was made. Ofgem made a mistake in telling him it was fine to keep the shares. He doesn't believe that there was a breach in the Civil Service Code because Neil was open about owning the shares, open and honest about owning the shares. My argument and my response back to Jonathan Brearley, which I'll send tomorrow and I'll post on the website tomorrow as well, is that I don't believe any person with integrity can own shares or their spouse own shares in a company that they regulate and think that that's okay. I dare Neil Lawrence to post a video and say to the camera that he genuinely believes it is acceptable for a regulator or a regulator's partner to own shares in one of the companies they regulate. Even if they don't directly deal with that arm of the company, you can't honestly believe that owning shares in SSE, one of the major top 10 generators in the UK, is an acceptable thing to do. And therefore, I do think it's a breach of the Civil Service Code. I don't think he acted with integrity. I think a person with integrity would have looked at that and immediately said, no, I don't care if Ofgem said that it's okay for my wife to own these shares. I shouldn't have them. That's not okay. I'm benefiting from things that I may have influence over. Jonathan Brearley also said in his letter that he refuses to comment on whether or not, or the extent to which Neil Lawrence benefited from owning those shares for that extended period of time. And he highlighted again what the MP said, which is that SSE doesn't have a retail arm anymore. They sold that to OVO a few years ago. So where Neil Lawrence was in charge of the price cap effectively, and all on the domestic retail side of energy, his decisions wouldn't have impacted the share price of SSE. I'm not entirely sure they're completely separate things. Like, obviously, the price cap is only on the supply side and not on the generation side. And Neil's shares would have been on the generation side, but as a director, he would have had input into other conversations. I don't believe there's complete Chinese walls behind every department of Ofgem, and I just don't think that it's a reasonable excuse one way or the other. So I will be responding to Jonathan Brearley. And as I said, I'll post those responses and I'll send you guys some links some point, either later this week or the beginning of next week so you can see them. Or feel free to just go to over50smoney.com. They'll be on the website on the homepage. So that's everything I had for today. As I said, please do get involved with the consultation process. The links are in the description below, or they would have been on the instructions will be on the update I posted to the petition. And I'll hopefully be back with some more videos either on the politics side, which we're now doing, or on the Ofgem consultations at the beginning of next week. I don't think I'm going to be posting any more at the end of this week. So have a great weekend, everyone. Again, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the Over 50s Money YouTube channel and share the video around. Thank you.